Lawmakers say they're reviving a plan to create a new state tourism agency following a failed attempt earlier this year.
Coming off another record-breaking year for the industry, supporters of the bill told Roy Howard Community Journalism Center reporter Micaiah Jackson they hope for better luck this time around.
After being vetoed by Governor Reeves over budget concerns, State Senator Mike Thompson says he expects to reintroduce the Mississippi Tourism Reorganization Act next session. It would separate Visit Mississippi from the state's development authority and create a standalone tourism department with its own director.
As the tourism industry has grown in the state of Mississippi, and particularly here on the coast, that effort has indicated that we need to have a dedicated Department of Tourism that does nothing but tourism.
Tourism is the state's fourth largest industry, bringing in 44 million visitors last year and generating nearly $12 billion in visitor spending.
There's a sentiment that there's a little bit of a delay, a little bit of a lag, maybe not really an understanding of what the needs are as far as marketing support. Some of the stuff can be very, it's opportunistic, right? You have to roll that stuff out quickly.
Danielle Morgan with the Mississippi Tourism Association says a new department would help Mississippi compete with other states that already have one.
Ultimately, it would make, the Visit Mississippi a cabinet level position, with direct access to the governor. Our neighboring states, they're all structured that way. So it seems to be kind of an industry best practice as well.
Visit Mississippi Director Rochelle Hicks says the mission wouldn't change, just how the agency works behind the scenes.
The difference would just be that we would have our own internal administrative/operations teams such as IT, HR, and accounting.
Other than the new systems, the new department would keep the same budget it has under MDA.